Warning, we're going to be discussing events for currently running weekly anime.
If you want to avoid spoilers for certain shows, there are timestamps in the description. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the Timesink Anime Podcast. It is week 8 of winter 2019. I'm totally not reading off of a script right now. In fact, if you haven't been wondering, no, this show is pretty much completely unscripted. Anyway, I'm JT, and this is Rex.
I am Rex. I am ready to record for the anime.
No, in all seriousness, guys, it's great to have you back. It's great to be back.
Going off the script. Exterminate!
Oh no! Rex, what have you done? Alright, anyway, so, enough of that. What is our news for the week? Our senior news anime correspondent, Rex.
So we got, Crunchyroll has, at least for now, removed Season 1 of My Hero Academia and Attack on Titan due to licensing reasons from the whole Funimation Crunchyroll split.
Yup.
The Verve thing. I'm assuming eventually they'll probably get them put back on because those are very big series that I don't think they will just let them slip away like that. But at the moment, they have to take them off for legal reasons.
I guess that makes sense. That's a little bizarre that it's happening right now. Like, why is it just those first seasons and not the later seasons? Because are the later seasons still on Verve and Crunchyroll?
Yeah, Season 2 and on, they're still there. It's because just license expiring for like the first seasons, whereas they didn't have the same licensing for the new seasons.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. It's still a little bizarre. Licensing is a really weird market.
Yeah.
Kind of speaking on a sort of unrelated topic to the whole Crunchyroll Funimation partnership, that actually apparently has its own Wikipedia article now. Like
The Crunchyroll thing?
Yeah, the Crunchyroll Funimation partnership.
Okay.
Like, it actually was a stub in Wikipedia. Like, I haven't actually looked at the article itself, but I was like scrolling through, like, and a Wikipedia article. I don't remember which one it was, but
The Great Anime Wars of 2017?
Yeah.
2017, I think.
Was it 2017?
Yeah. Or it was either late 2017 or early 2018. So, speaking of Attack on Titan, we have the Season 3 premiere was announced for April 28th.
Yep, Season 3 Part 2, to be more specific.
Yeah.
Because, we decided to basically pull a Harry Potter and the last Harry Potter movie anyway, and just split the seasons into 2 parts, I guess, rather than just go to this one complete season. I don't know why they did that.
I mean, it's basically 2 different seasons. They just don't want to call it that. It's probably for story arc reasons is what they don't want to call it a new season.
Yeah, I guess it's... But, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it is called Season 3 Part 2.
Which I'm really excited for.
As somebody who hasn't read anything in the Attack on Titan manga, and I've only been watching anime, I'm kind of in suspense for it, because it looked like just from the ending of the most recent season, or the first part of the third season, that there's going to be something big happening. Like, for those who don't remember, it was like Levi, Aaron, and Mikasa all on a roof, and like Levi's covered in blood. Like,
oh yeah, that was the preview.
That just kind of went. That kind of staticked its way into the outro for that last episode.
Yep.
Yeah, that was foreboding, ominous,
and like I said earlier, both bands for the opening and ending, or one of them is going to do the opening, one is doing the ending.
I wonder who it's going to be.
Not sure which. So on a more serious note. For news this week, there has been certain allegations surrounding a voice actor. If you know who he is, like, we're not going to say the name, but if you know who he is, you know who we're talking about.
Yes.
Sides aside, some people are picking certain sides and defending certain people. At the end of the day, the only thing we really want to say is, don't be a fucking dick.
Yeah, I understand that tensions are running high on this whole thing, but at the end of the day, yes, we need to be civil about this. We need to not send death threats or harass people.
Yeah.
That's not going to solve the problem. It's just going to make it worse. This is a huge debacle. The only reason why we're bringing it up now is just because, well, we didn't really want to... We wanted to kind of not talk about it for a while because we didn't really know how to approach it, I guess. So
yeah, it's... Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, don't...
just because... Even if you disagree with someone's opinion, that doesn't mean you should attack them over it. Just, I don't know any other way to put it other than don't be a dick.
So you're almost, from the anime community, you're almost asking the impossible. These are people that like to get, that like to be dicks over somebody's waifus or shit taste, but in all seriousness, yes, please just try to be civil about this.
Remember, there are people on the other side of those computer screens.
All right. Now, enough of being preachy. Let's get right into what everybody is here for. The shows for this week. So let's drop anchor and settle in for a nice long chat. So first off, Boogiepop and Others.
Finally, the end of the arc.
Finally, but let's throw something out there first. The next arc, I guess, decided to also like be thrown up on pretty much the same day. Like there are 5 episodes like of Boogiepop and Others this week, so that would actually put us at about episode 12, I think, like that have been released so far, and there's supposed to be 18. So
yeah, but we're
not going to talk about the remaining. We're not going to talk about the 4 episodes that have come out. We'll try to find a way to talk about them in a future episode.
Probably next week will just be a long talk about Boogiepop.
Yeah, probably. We'll try to...
But this week...
We're the end of Boogiepop versus Imaginator.
So, I am a little bit confused about the Imaginator. Because, like, it seems... Boogiepop was there to stop the Imaginator. Mm-hmm. And as soon as the Imaginator... As soon as Jin lost his ambitions... to, make the world take a chill pill, for lack of a better explanation. The Imaginator just kind of was like, I guess I'm gone now.
Yeah, and you had thought, I'm not entirely sure, I was almost convinced that Jin just fell out the window. I don't think the Imaginator tried to, push him out or anything like that.
There was a huge, magical gust of wind that, pushed him out.
I don't know if that was... I don't know if the Imaginator was really trying to kill them, to kill Jin, though.
I think they were.
You think so?
Yeah, because I think they realized that Jin wasn't correct for their ideals. So the Imaginator was like, oh, well, let's just erase the slate, disappear for now, and find someone else later on.
I guess. I agree, and it acknowledged something very interesting when it was talking with Misaki, who showed up this episode, and that was actually a pretty interesting bit. It was like, you're strong, Misaki. I'm reminded every time that I disappear that someday I'll be able to break through, because when I see someone strong like you. It kind of makes me wonder, obviously this has sort of been a cyclical thing, the Imaginator will just periodically show up. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty much established that this is a being similar to Boogiepop in that it will just periodically show up.
Yeah, the Imaginator shows up, and where the Imaginator shows up, it looks like Boogiepop shows up.
Yeah. This whole, first bit when Orihata was, on the phone with Misaki, I actually thought it was kind of sad and that she was just trying to tell him to get away. So
yeah, she was just trying to keep him safe.
Yeah, because he told her he loved her. That actually made her, kind of take a pause and just say, no, you need to get away from me. You're gonna get hurt. And, of course, he almost does. Oh, shit, I've been attacked by mascots!
Yeah, I guess, not Spooky, Jin realizes, oh, he can kick people's asses. Let's just put him in big padded suits.
So they can't get hurt. Yeah. But then also... I hope for anybody who was watching this episode, they're not afraid of clowns, because holy shit are there a lot of clowns.
Yeah, and they're everywhere.
And they're freaky looking clowns.
They're Pennywise ass looking clowns.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of clowns. I'm okay, you're creepy. What the hell?
Yeah, I'm assuming they injected him with a sedative.
Yeah, probably.
What that was.
Yeah,
I at first thought it was going to be some kind of mind control drug. But then I realized Jin doesn't need that.
Yeah, Jin doesn't do that. And then I thought it was really cool how all these plot threads and characters all kind of converged on the same place in a pretty organic way, I think, because Misaki wanted to go because Orihata was there, and the way he figured out that Orihata was in that building was actually pretty cool. Did you catch it?
Yeah, the plane.
Yeah, because he heard the plane in the background on the phone and just happened to look in the direction of the plane. I thought that was a pretty clever little detail, so that's why he had it that way. Suema wanted to go because she knew what Kinukawa was talking about, and Paisley Park had been brought to her attention before. And then Boogiepop went there because Suema told Toka, which since they're the same person, of course they're going to want to go there as well.
Yeah, Boogiepop is always along for the ride.
Yeah, exactly. I just thought it was a pretty cool little way that they got all those characters in the same place. It was, I think, a pretty clever way, pretty clever writing device there.
Yeah, it's very, very well written.
And then, of course, the Boogiepop scene.
The action scene?
Yeah, was short and sweet, but it was awesome.
I love Boogiepop's fighting style, just using wires.
Yeah, using wires, and the way, and it was actually pretty clever. It was started counting down. We didn't know why it was counting down until the music started playing.
Yeah.
And then Gene pointed out, it's like, music throws people off their balance, and that's what caused, so it was like Boogiepop had kind of planned it. Why was the electricity running just because Boogiepop was there? I have no idea. Because he said the electricity was supposed to be off in the park.
Who knows? Boogiepop's been doing tons of stuff off screen this entire show.
Yeah, exactly. Boogiepop just kind of shows up whenever it needs to.
Like, I don't think that Boogiepop can, like, teleport around anywhere. I think it's just that, like, from the viewpoint of the audience, we just don't see what she's doing all the time, or what it's doing all the time.
Yeah, and it's always just kind of using Toka as a vessel to do what it needs to.
Which Toka seems fine with it.
Yeah.
It's weird. The more information we're getting about Toka and Boogiepop, and the more we see, like, the kind of slipping in and out of conversations, it almost seems like Toka's aware of everything. I think I talked about this last week.
Yeah, we did. Like, just how, like, it sort of said, you should rely on your friends more, and then it goes back to Toka, like nothing was happening. I don't know, like, maybe this was something that was addressed in Boogiepop Phantom, the original series.
Yeah.
Like, so this definitely makes me want to watch that, because I'm enjoying the hell out of Boogiepop.
Yeah, I really want Masaki and Orihata to just be normal high schoolers now, and have a normal life,
have a normal relationship.
I'm a little worried that the Toa organization is going to come after Orihata.
Yeah,
because they made her. I think she's like an artificial human.
Yeah, she's an artificial human, which that comes up in the confrontation between Boogiepop and Gene. Which that was just an awesome confrontation, because that whole confrontation was just Boogiepop taunting Gene the whole time.
Yeah, knowing that none of what he was going to do was going to do anything.
Yeah. The sort of, like, just outplayed him. And plus, Gene freaking snapped when he realized that Boogiepop's heart was just a black void. There wasn't a flower in it or anything.
Yeah, I'm a little curious about what's in the canisters.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it was some kind of, like, poison that was going to shoot over the whole city or something.
Maybe.
Because when Spooky E was talking about, like, well, if this doesn't work, I can always just use this.
Yeah, exactly. The other really cool thing is, once again, the psychology in the show is outstanding. Like, when Boogiepop kind of reveals to Masaki that he had been brainwashed by Spooky E, and then she just kind of says, "Are you sure you've done anything of your free will up to this point?" Like, because living in, like, trying to make yourself live up to societal expectations is essentially a form of brainwashing in and of itself. So can you really say you've done anything of your own free will of this point, which I thought was fascinating. And then the real reason why it's revealed that Gene couldn't hurt Orihata wasn't because she wasn't human, as it turns out. The way that Boogiepop explained it was because her heart had changed. So basically it was the power of love had changed. The power of love had made it so that she couldn't get hurt, is what it seems like, because our hearts change through communication with other people. Really, who's the only person that she had an impact with was Masaki and her interactions with him. So, power of love saved the day once again.
So, next up is Dororo. Yeah, the spider. Jiraiya-gumo?
Yeah, something like that.
Jiraiya-gumo? I think Jiraiya-gumo is the name of the Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah, which I wonder if that's just a mistranslation, or if this is like a popular thing. It's because I was thinking about that, like the Jiraiya-gumo silk spider. I was like, isn't that just a popular Japanese myth?
A mythological creature or something?
Yeah, I was thinking that...
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, like, I thought it was the myth of, like, like a spider dangled a thread down into hell, like, offering one person to go up, and then he started to climb up, then everybody started to follow once they saw the thread, and then he just started gradually kicking people down.
Yeah.
And eventually the thread breaks, so nobody got out. Or, I don't remember.
I mean, that sounds interesting. I might go check it out.
Yeah.
But this episode served as a pretty interesting analogy for, like, just because you're a monster doesn't mean you're the monster.
Yeah, exactly. And this whole thing also just served as a nice little breather, I guess, from the traumatic events of the last episode.
Yeah. This episode was
a lot more uplifting.
Yeah, uplifting and lighthearted, because, like, by the end, we learned that the spider demon never actually killed anybody.
Yeah,
it just ended up, like, sucking some of their life force out and then letting him go back.
Yeah, because it ain't even acknowledged, like, I'll drain some of their life force, but it'll regenerate eventually. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was pretty interesting seeing how ghouls and humans can actually kind of coexist in a somewhat beneficial relationship, or, like, because the spider isn't really a parasite, or it kind of is.
It's a parasite.
It is, but it's not really hurting anybody. Like, it's clearly benefiting, but it isn't ridiculously hurtful.
Yeah,
to the
it's
other
just
person.
It's minorly inconveniencing people that it.
Yeah,
like, I'm assuming that she, like, sucks some of their life force out. They stumble on home. She, like, seduces them somehow.
Yeah, because we saw that in the beginning. The whole get a room.
Yeah, I think she seduces them. Maybe even gives them some kind of, like, fun time in their head or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then sends them on their way, and they probably just, wake up in the forest with a headache or something.
Yeah, exactly.
The next day.
So, I don't know if you noticed this. This is kind of like a little tangent, but did you ever notice, like, something clever with the sound design anytime you hear Hyakimaru walking? If you listen carefully, you can actually hear his peg leg hitting the ground. Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of subtle, but he does have, like, a kind of clanking wood against the ground, which makes sense because he's got a prosthetic leg.
Yeah,
I just thought that was I just noticed it while watching it again, but this entire episode was all about, like, there's a kidnapper here in this village.
Yeah. Surprise, ancient Japanese underground railroad.
Exactly, because it turns out that this village its village lord did not give a rat's ass about anybody in the village. It was a quarry village, so it made people basically work to death.
Yep.
Like, and they actually had people, like, ferrying out. Like, they had one person ferrying out these guys in secret.
It's and really cool, dude.
And the whole time, like, they're kind of giving you, like, little hints revealing the idea. The first big one was when Hyakimaru was just kind of staring at Yajiro, the guy who actually turns out, because I thought it was like, they kind of paused on that shot for just a little too long. It just seemed like, did Hyakimaru notice something we didn't? And it turns out, yeah, they did, because... And then, like, everybody's all saying, it's like, don't worry, no man in this village is ever going to sell that guy out. Yeah. So it's like, it's beneficial. Like, nobody's actually getting hurt. Which I thought was
the
cool.
writing in this episode was really cool. It did a very good job of subverting your expectations. It slowly tried to get you thinking that the spider was the one who was kidnapping people and killing people.
Yeah.
Kind of through the perspective of Dororo and, to a lesser extent, Hyakimaru. But, yeah, like you said earlier, it turns out that the guy was the one who was, quote-unquote, kidnapping people.
When in reality, he was helping them escape.
That was probably a cover that was being made, like, by the village as a whole.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they just didn't want anyone to know about that guy. Which, in the end, they ended up learning about him, and there might be some negative repercussions about that after he leaves. I'm assuming there probably will be. Mm-hmm. But it was a sweet little ending.
Yeah. It's actually kind of an interesting parallel because Ohagi, the name of the spider demon that Yajiro gave her, and and Hyakimaru had a fight, but then Yajiro got wounded by the samurai. Told him, no, don't hurt her, just let her escape. And it kind of caused Hyakimaru to not kill her. Like, he noticed something change.
Yeah, he's a lot more perceptive than he was before.
Yeah.
So, because when the spider was, like, kind of lashing out at the samurai,
her aura was, like, bright red.
Yeah, and then when she leaned down to hug Yajiro, like, her aura turned to a gray, and Hyakimaru realized, like, okay, maybe she's not a bad person.
Yeah, which, it's an interesting thing from Dororo, because later he said, it's a good thing your hearing came back, or else that would have ended really awkwardly. But then I kind of think about it, it's like, no, that's not entirely true. I think he would have noticed it. Yeah, he would have noticed something even without his hearing, I think. But I think it's because of his hearing that he was able to kind of discern differences. Which, it's actually kind of cool, but even now he's sort of learned, like, he hasn't spoken yet, but he still does little signs to Dororo. Like, when Dororo was talking, he covered covered his own mouth and then put his hand to his ear, basically saying, hey, listen. Like, stop talking and listen. That was just a nice little detail. And it was a nice little parallel, as I was saying, that Hyakimaru didn't kill the spider demon, and then Dororo didn't kill a spider that bit him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a nice little parallel. It's like, you're right. I'm sorry I scared you. Go on, get out of here.
Yeah, and then they go on their merry way.
Yeah, like, Hyakimaru just kind of chuckles a little bit. Just like,
oh, yeah. He actually laughs at him.
Yeah. I don't know if that was actually him laughing, or just him laughing at at Dororo, or just laughing at the situation, the sort of like, I'm kind of proud at you sort of laugh. Just
I think he was just chuckling.
Just
funny situation.
Yeah.
It was a nice episode.
Yeah, it really was. It was certainly...
healed my heart after last episode.
Oh, God, last episode. It's, Mio, you're only around for 2 episodes, but I'm going to miss you. I'm pretty sure Hyakimaru's going to miss you, too. Next up, Jojo Golden Wind. The boss has very specific instructions.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like, it's like, you have to go in this boat, you have to, get to the island 15 minutes after you retrieve the disc. You can only get, and once you arrive, there will be a man in a yellow poncho. His name is Hank. He'll get, hand off the disc. They don't really go into that detail, but it's pretty much like that. Like, and
he's a very careful man.
Very careful. And the cool thing about this is the whole time we're just kind of seeing Trish, like the camera work and stuff is like panning on her, and she just looks kind of like uncertain, doesn't really say anything. The first thing that she says is when she's getting ready to meet her dad, and basically says, "What's gonna happen to me?" Like, she finally just breaks down in front of Bucciarati, like saying, "Something's gonna happen. I know it is."
Yeah, it's interesting seeing how much faith Bucciarati had in the boss.
Yeah.
Immediately subverted by, like, I fucking knew it! He did this! Like, I feel like that was a little bit of a jump.
Yeah.
Like, if I was in his shoes, my first thought would have been, oh, someone from the team that was following us probably attacked Trish when I was in the elevator. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't have immediately thought, oh yes, the boss that I pledged my loyalty to.
Yeah.
And just a moment ago, I gave a speech to Trish about, oh, don't worry, he's going to take you to a nice faraway place.
Yeah.
You're going to be comfortable. Then immediately it's just like, that fucking boss, I always knew he was a piece of shit traitor.
Which it turns out that, yes, like, it turns out that we find out a little bit about Bucciarati's backstory here and why he hates drugs so much and why he was going on basically a crusade against them. It's because he finds out that the boss is involved in the drugs that he hated so much. Like, yeah. Which, a little bit about Bucciarati's backstory. His mom is a very manipulative person. Like, you want to live with me, don't you?
Well, we want you to choose between who to live with.
But live with me. Yeah. Like, just obviously trying to prod him. Like,
I mean, like, it's probably easier to understand your position if you've ever been in it.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I've never had kids.
Yeah.
And let alone split from my...
Like, I get it. Like, I mean, I get, like, her wanting her son to live with her. That's fine. I understand that. But at the same time, it just felt she was prodding a little too hard. It was a little too on the nose.
I think she probably, like, expected him to go
exactly.
with her.
And I think even his father expected him to, because he was completely shocked when it happened.
Yeah.
But basically what happens is Bucciarati's dad gets shot, somehow doesn't die. He's very lucky, I guess. And then... by 2 guys who were trying to commit a drug deal, which these guys were shady looking as fuck. Yeah. Like, I saw them and just, like, listened to the way they talked. They had clearly that sort of gangster, like, sound about them, like, kind of low class. And I was just thinking, it's like, yeah, these guys aren't suspicious at all. Which, lo and behold, they tried to kill him.
Yeah, the way that Bucciarati defended his dad was so brutal.
It was brutal.
He stabbed the guy in the chest and then dragged the knife up to, like, his mouth.
Yeah, just... And then he just immediately pulled the knife out while the other guy was still surprised and just stabbed him right. And he was 12. He was 12 when he killed 2 people. And then he decided,
how old was Misaka in Attack on Titan? Was she, like, 6 or something?
That's a very good point. I hadn't even...
I mean, she had, like, superpowers, but whatever.
Whatever. I think it's kind of, and it's kind of sad, actually, like that, because Bucciarati finds out that his dad died, like, after 5 years, which, from complications from his wounds. You know, he was in a hospital for 5 years and suddenly died of complications. I kind of listening to that, I gotta call bullshit.
Well, it was probably he was slowly dying over time thing, not like, not the doctors were like, oh, you're healthy, just kidding, you're dead. I think it was probably like, he's got worse day by day.
I was thinking that, which probably meant that he was in a coma for 5 years, roughly.
No, because he was like, talking to his son, I think, every once in a while.
I mean, you'd think that after 5 years he would have gotten slightly better. I mean, so it makes me think that maybe the boss had him killed or something like that. Like, and it's just something we don't know about. And I want to say, what is Araki's obsession with women's severed hands? This is the second time we've seen something like this.
I don't think you can really call it an obsession when it's only the second time.
I mean, it's because it's just kind of hilarious. It's like, that was Kira's calling card in Diamonds Unbreakable, and the boss just kind of severed away his Trish's hand.
Well, yeah, but he wasn't like making love with a hand. It was like his tool to get her out without alerting Bucciarati, which
that was actually a really good shot. Like, because like he was holding her hand and he's just like, "Hey, we're almost at the top," and then it just kind of cuts back to him and she's just gone. Yeah. I was like, "Oh shit."
Well, so we got to talk about the boss's stand really quick. What was it called?
King Crimson?
King Crimson, yeah. So,
or Emperor Crimson in the subtitles.
King Crimson is a British rock band that was apparently pretty big around their time.
Yeah.
I didn't really recognize any of their music.
Mm-hmm.
But his stand, I guess, lets him
perceive the future, is what it seems like. Kind of manipulate and sort of like understand the future and able to kind of show people the future. Is what it seems like.
So, it's weird, because Bucciarati attacked what he thought was the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out that he attacked himself. I guess maybe the boss, like, picked him up and moved him over, like flashback to Dio when Polnareff was walking up the stairs.
Yeah, and just repeatedly going back down.
Yeah. Let's talk about that just for a quick second. How much time and effort that Dio would have had to put into that.
Yeah.
Like grabbing him, walking down the stairs, putting him down, walking back up, getting back in his smug pose. Just
to prove a point. Is like, it seems like Araki just likes to have villains who have time manipulation powers, because yes. Dio had the ability to stop time, Kira had the ability to reverse time, and it seems that the boss has the ability to see the future or kind of alter the future. Because he knew that Bucciarati was also going to attack him, like, and betray him. It's like, hey, you might want to just go home, Bruno Bucciarati, because I know you're behind that pillar. So it's almost like he can kind of just see the future. So I don't really know exactly what his stand power is. It's bizarre, but it definitely involves, like, I imagine, foresight.
Yeah.
And
I'm sure we'll get more about that next episode, because I'm pretty sure next episode is probably going to be the end of this arc.
Yeah. I imagine so. I want to point out something that I thought was kind of interesting, or something that feels a little bit bizarre to me. Like, the boss doesn't want his identity to be revealed. That much is obvious. So he wants to kill, and he wants to kill his daughter so he can cover up his tracks. It just makes me wonder, why didn't he just kill his daughter in the first place? Like, or just let the Hitman team kill her.
I don't think he wants to kill her.
You don't think so?
No, because it's pretty, like you just said, it's pretty obvious. He could have just let her die.
Mm-hmm.
But he went to all this effort to get his daughter to him.
Yeah.
So I'm sure he has a plan for her other than to kill her.
If I had to make an assumption out of like the clues in the intro, it probably has something to do with, like, he needs like a new host for his body or something like that.
Maybe, yeah.
Because, like, if you look in the OP and you see her in the cloak that he wears, so it makes me wonder if that's just supposed to be like a slight nod to that or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Could be a thing,
but
because obviously, like, he could have killed her when she was in the elevator.
Yeah,
also, instead of taking her with him still alive.
It's bizarre. And the episode ends with Bucciarati getting impaled through the chest.
Giorno can fix that.
Yeah, Giorno can fix that.
If he's there in time.
Yeah, albeit rather painfully. Also, we just figure out more and more of how, like, sticky fingers. I almost called it zipper, man. Screw you, subtitle.
Sticky fingers.
Yeah, I hit a cell phone in my face, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, didn't expect that.
I wasn't either. Like, I can hide stuff in my face. I wasn't expecting that at all. Like,
cheat so much on tests.
Yeah,
That's
just
cool. I hid the answers in my pinky finger.
yeah, and just kind of like occasionally just like look at your pinky or kind of like go when you're thinking, just and hide like little slips of paper like all over your hand.
So next week, will Giorno save Bucciarati?
Who knows? In the next exciting episode of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Golden Wind.
So next up is Kaguya-sama, Love is War. We got the return of Love Detective Chica.
Yay! Like, I saw that in the thumbnail for this episode. I'm like, oh yay, Love Detective Chica's back, and she only shows up for like 30 seconds because it turns out the case she's on is really stupid.
Because Miyuki
is an incompetent buffoon.
I was gonna say he's a workaholic.
Yeah. Get a job!
Yeah, I just love the get a job! Get a fucking job!
I love how each time, like the first time it's just like, get a job. And the second time, like you see like the fires start to show up. And then the third time it's like getting, like, it's like he lights the desk on fire, like a thermometer explodes. Like, it just, intensity is growing so much. And I think it was funny when, because this is Kashiwagi's boyfriend again, like the couple that we've seen happen, go to advice for the student council on a couple occasions. This marks time number 3. I guess you just need to hammer in a joke. The whole deal is, he wants to hold hands. Again, we're kind of getting to some Ore Monogatari sort of stuff, like, I just want to hold his hands stuff, but...
Yeah. So lewd.
Exactly. But, the whole thing is, it's like, well, what you need to do is you need to rent a cruiser. You need to rent a cruiser.
Why? He's not even rich.
No, he isn't.
Like, why would he suggest renting a cruiser?
Renting a cruiser, and as you're looking out over the sunset, you take her hand, or you kind of accidentally, on purpose, brush against her hand.
Why do you even need a cruiser for that? I feel like you could just do that.
Oh, Kaguya certainly is smitten with the idea. It's like, that's just the kind of person he is, which... hilarious little bit when you see like the two of them talking, you just see like Kaguya's head just go whoop, kind of appear.
Just like last time.
Yeah, just in the background it just kind of appears, and then they zoom in on her face.
And then Love Detective Chica shows up and is like, no, just do this.
It's like, couldn't you just take her by the hand? What's gumming up the works? Like, why is this a problem? Like, it really isn't an issue.
I think my favorite part of this episode was... what's his name?
Ishigami?
Ishigami, yeah, and he's sitting on the couch talking about Kaguya and Chica, and how, like, their different boob sizes.
Yeah, because the whole thing with Ishigami is that he's wanting to cut budgets for the sports teams, and it's just like, well, most of the sports teams have girlfriends. Like, most of the members have girlfriends. It's like, that's your reason? And it turns out he's actually got a reason that is spiteful, but kind of makes sense. It's like, if you've got a girlfriend, spend time with her. Why are you wasting so much time?
No, he's not saying that to make the couples happier. He's saying that, like, how dare you have a girlfriend and not spend time with your girlfriend? Like, I'm so pathetic and sad, I don't even have a girlfriend.
Yeah,
there's no noble reasons behind it.
It's still kind of funny, and it puts him in a somewhat justifiable light, but no, at the end of the day, he's like, well, you could always join one of these clubs, and that's when he finds out that Kaguya's in the Japanese archery club.
Yeah, and that's my favorite part of the episode is when they slowly, like, sneak up behind him.
Yeah, like, the thing about it is, like, he, like, points out, like, it's like, that's perfect for Kaguya because of her tiny boob size, and then, like, as he's talking, more and more of the room just, like, it's kind of just him on the couch and the white background, and then elements of the room just keep getting added in the more he's talking, with Kaguya showing up in one of the frames. I'm like, oh shit. And then
I loved Miyuki being like, no,
dude,
it's like, stop,
Ishigami, it's like, hit the brakes, it's like, stop talking. And then Chica shows up, and then he finally realizes that the two of them are behind him. Chica goes over, folds a newspaper, puts some red tape around it, has a happy smile on his face.
The whole time was she's making it, she's just smiling.
And then she proceeds to go, yeah! Just beat him over the head with a freaking Harrison.
He deserved it.
No, he did. He totally did. And then he's all like, and then Kaguya said something to the effect of, don't worry, Chica's kind and she'll forgive you. She'll be the only one who forgives you, though. And it's revealed, it's like, I'm going to go home and write my will.
I love every time Miyuki has to say, don't die.
Yeah.
But don't die, though. Like,
Yeah, it's like, okay, fine, just don't die. Like, I like how that's a running joke. Like, he always finds some convoluted or reason that kind of makes sense for him to want to go home. It just seems like that's the running joke of the of the series now with Ishigami. And we find out in no unsubtle terms that Ishigami is a boob guy. It's like, I spent a good life thinking about big ones and small ones. That's what he said when he was walking down the hall. It's like, oh, it's curious what he was talking about there.
He's trying his best, I guess.
I guess, but he's not. He's so awkward. He is so awkward. I thought I was bad, but no, that takes it to a whole new level. And then we get introduced to one of the better parts of the episode as well. The Kaguya having the mind of a child.
I didn't expect to hear Chika say wiener
so many
times.
Yeah, which I want to point out. So it was hilarious the first time she said it, like, and then Kaguya started laughing. Like, it just shows like a close up of Chika's face, like, and she was just kind of looking at Kaguya, and it makes me wonder if she was sizing up the situation. Like, that kind of makes her laugh. I think that made her laugh. Let's try that again.
Oh,
like
for sure she was.
Yeah, she was testing the waters for sure.
She's an evil genius.
Yeah. Chika really is, like, is probably, like, the mastermind of this show. Like, it's hilarious to think about because she's not the smartest person in the school, but she is way more perceptive than anybody gives her credit for.
Yeah, but this whole skit is just adorable seeing Kaguya bust up laughing over every time she says the word wiener.
Yeah, and then it's like, don't say that in front of a boy. Don't worry, I would never say that out of my own mouth.
That's fucking smug look on her face.
Yeah, and her basically trying to get Shirogane to say wiener. Like, what is a dachshund? Like, what is another word for a dachshund? And then basically it ends with Shirogane running out of the room thinking that the two of them are nymphomaniacs. Next up is the Magnificent Kotobuki. Dodo noises are freaky as shit, apparently.
Oh, yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, because... it might, like, you could probably replace that with, like, a screaming goat or whatever, and it would get the same point across, because that's how we start the episode, just Captain Dodo screaming at Chika, just, like, screaming at her little doll that she bought. Eat it or murder it or something of that nature.
So this episode is a good example of how to do flashbacks right.
Yeah,
in my opinion, because you have to make it part of the episode, and you also have to earn it. So you have to pretty much write the episode around a flashback.
Yeah, exactly,
to make it done right, and that's what they did pretty well in this episode. With pretty much having her crash, having her be stranded out in the middle of nowhere, which allowed a good time to tell her backstory.
Yeah, like it was her just kind of reflecting, because it turns out that it fit because the place where she crashed was like a pilot training ground that she was familiar with as well, and had known about her pretty much mentor, old Sab, I believe his name was.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and I thought I would get to see the way they meet is kind of funny because he's just laying around on the ground. It's like, are you dead? I thought I'd get to see my first real corpse. Suddenly we're in Stand By Me.
Just start poking the dead body.
Yeah, exactly. And
so what's the deal? I want to know what the deal with is with the person she was chasing. Mm-hmm. Because it definitely seems like it's a personal grudge. Like somebody she knows. Because every time she sees that symbol.
Yeah, or at least she knows the symbol. I mean, it partly makes me wonder if that's old Sab in the other plane.
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe, like, because interesting thing about that dogfight, when she started chasing the other plane, and it managed to get behind her the first time, it didn't shoot at her when it easily could have.
It was definitely somebody who didn't want to hurt her.
But then later, when it got an opportunity to just hit her engine, it didn't hesitate, and it just shot her engine.
Yeah.
It seemed like that was a little too calculated.
Exactly, and the whole part after she woke up where she was like, oh, my plane's here, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
So, like, somehow that person probably helped her after she crashed.
Yeah, it's like, why did my... It's like, it's like my landing gears deployed. Was that just muscle reflex? Which it very easily could have been. She could have, like, blacked out or something out of, like, panic. But then muscle reflexes just took over. I think that the only problem, really, as far as, like, exposition, because it was in character for Kelia to just kind of be talking with herself, because she is kind of quirky and kind of bizarre, just kind of talking with herself and really keeping herself company at this point, because she's alone. The only problem was when she was getting ready to fix her engine and she needed to use her scarf, she's like, Rayona gave me this scarf. Sorry I had to use it, but thank you. It was like,
I remember thinking that it would have been much better if she would have just said, sorry, Rihanna.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a little kind of clumsy writing.
Yeah, exactly. It was a little clumsy. Old Sab is really just is like your stereotypical grumpy old man, but he's still enjoyable to watch.
Yeah, like if this were a live action movie, he'd be played by, what's his name?
Clint Eastwood?
Clint Eastwood, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of does have that sort of Clint Eastwood vibe, I guess. But it was just kind of funny just seeing her just kind of following him around, and she was basically like his granddaughter or something like that. But then we get a little bit of info about this world, like how Old Sab was from a country, I guess, that had built planes in the first place, like, and then brought factories to this other country where Kelia and all of them live. Yufeng, I believe, is the name of the country that Sab is originally from, and Ijutsu is the name of another of the country that this takes place in.
Yeah, we know that Old Sab helped a group research and develop planes, and then he wanted out of it, but they chased after him to bring him back. So he decided that it's better off to, instead of getting everyone else caught up in his problems, it's better off to just set fire to his house and leave.
Yeah, which made Kelia very upset. But then she sort of it was a kind of nice little gesture, like later when she just kind of put a rock in front of the tree that he'd burned down and just basically said, well, hopefully I'll see you soon.
So I didn't really, I just had a thought. I didn't really go back and check, but maybe the plane that Sab was flying around in, the plane he left in, maybe that had the symbol on it.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll have to go back and check probably after this.
No, I think it actually had the same symbol that Kelia has on her plane. Actually, I think so. It has like a little red bird-looking thing.
Yeah, it's. I didn't notice.
Yeah. Also, another cool thing during the dogfight, it was a nice little bit of detail when it showed the cable that was holding her plane. You hear the tension in it, kind of building up the twangs in it. Just from the wind. It was just a nice, cool little detail. I really liked it.
Overall, I think this episode did a really good job of showing that this show can take itself a little more seriously.
Yeah.
The author is pretty good writer, because most of the shows so far has just been, like we said before, there's a lighthearted kind of romp through this world. But now we're getting a little bit more detail of kind of the darker side of things. Yeah. Not super edgy.
Yeah, we're not getting into grim dark.
Just kind of more realistic. I guess.
There are some dramatic parts, and that's totally cool. We did also get a little bit of insight into why Julia is the way she is, I think, because of the whole Kelia is asking, it's are they really going to make people only allow certain people to fly and decide who gets licenses and stuff like that? It seems that Julia just wants. She's this world's equivalent of a libertarian. She wants absolutely free enterprise to do what she wants in the sky, and she doesn't want any government regulations telling her what to do. It seems like she's just that kind of person, and I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, I was worried that Kelia. I was worried in the beginning that Kelia was going to end up chasing after this person, crash, and then lose all of the money they got for that job.
Oh no! But she brought all the money, which again, she paid her a lot. She paid them a lot of money, and she said a line. It's I'd never deny somebody a chance to call me wicked, but I'll never let anybody call me stingy. Yeah. I thought that was just a funny
I
little
begrudgingly
line.
Like her.
Yeah,
Julia as a character, because she keeps her word.
Yeah,
say that.
She's a bitch, but at least she's aware of that fact.
She's an honest bitch.
Exactly. She's a good business lady.
So next up is Mob Psycho 100. Good to see
2.
Mob Psycho 100 2.
Yep.
Reagan is really just a good guy.
Yeah,
that
that
ending hit me so hard.
Yeah, that line really was actually just kind of like oof.
Yeah, it was a combination of the results of what happened before, the music, the voice acting delivery.
Yeah, and just like kind of the animation shots.
Reagan's face.
Yeah, just like at first when he asked, because the whole thing was, have you always, it's like, how long have you known about me, what I really am? It's like I've always known that my master is a genuinely good guy. Which
I think in that statement, I think Mob does know that Reagan doesn't have psychic powers.
Yeah.
Probably.
I imagine he's
probably figured it out by now.
Yeah, because I wouldn't say that Mob is always the most perceptive when it comes to certain things, but I think just with his interactions, he probably might have picked something up at this point, but also sees Reagan as a good enough teacher that he's wanted to stick around.
Yeah.
Like, because that was the other big thing. Like, this was another example of a flashback done well, I think, when you finally realize, like, how Mob and Reagan actually met each other for the first time.
I thought we'd seen that before.
I
swear I remember seeing that scene before.
I think we saw... Well...
It was in the first season, I think.
Yeah, I think, but before, that was from Mob's perspective. Here we saw Reagan's perspective of it, and kind of what that meant to him as a person, I think. Because Reagan was talking about how he was about ready to give up that whole consultation business, because Reagan is a person who never can seem to be content with just doing one thing. Like, he'll just kind of get bored of something and immediately go on to the next thing. And then he meets Mob, and that's what kind of changes his perception and makes him want to... he realized there was just something in Mob that he'd wanted. It was something that he'd hoped that would make him special. Yeah,
it's interesting to know that he didn't originally hire on Mob just because he thought Mob could make him money.
He was being selfish still, because but it wasn't just out of
different reason.
Yeah. And even he acknowledges that, and it's actually kind of sad to see that, because first of all, we missed the whole big thing about how Jojo is a scheming asshole.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we kind of seen this coming, but just the depths of which he planned this.
I can kind of understand where he's coming from, because Jojo was he was making an honest living doing a business that he was actually, doing and helping people with his psychic powers. And then I can definitely understand why it would piss you off to see a fake come into your business and, basically steal your business by scamming people.
Yeah. But as you pointed out, like, is he really scamming people?
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He's still helping. Well, he's kind of scamming people.
Yeah,
but in the end, he's helping people. But from Joe's perspective, he's not seeing any of that. He's just seeing someone pretending to be a psychic.
Yeah, exactly. And the way that he basically... The whole time, Reagan is like, oh wait, this is a script, so I'll just have to follow the script. He realizes, like, right off the bat, just by watching the kid's reaction, because it's like, did the salt splash? It's like, the salt splash never works. This kid is clearly acting, but then he decides to play it up because he thinks, like, oh, okay, well, this is clearly a show. The kid knows it's a show. There's no reason to hold back. Although, Jojo then reveals that his plan wasn't to make Reagan just be an opening act. It was just to say, oh yeah, by the way, that kid was never possessed to begin with.
I think what Reagan should have done is, like, it would have made him look really good to the audience and people in general if he said, even after the guy was like, that kid's not possessed, he should have been like, wow, I have so much to learn. I thought he actually was possessed. Like, you're such an amazing psychic, because everyone would have been like, wow, look at all that humility he has, and he seems like such a genuine nice guy.
I think it was a combination of, like, Reagan was just completely caught off guard. He wasn't expecting that.
Oh, and he's so, like, proud and
exactly.
He's so used to being able to, like, talk his way out of things.
Yeah, it was hard to just actually watch him kind of crumble and buckle down like that. We've never seen that side of him before. Yeah. And then the press conference, which was easily one of the best scenes ever.
And then he just snaps back to
just
normal Reagan.
Like, his snarky ass attitude, like, the whole time. Like, it was just funny.
I'm pretty sure that, well, it didn't show it, but I'm almost positive that it was Mob that made everything float in the room.
Yeah, and then...
Because that was such a heart-touching moment when Reagan's like, well, I hope you're watching Mob, and he's like, you've grown up, haven't you?
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, you've grown up so much, you know that? And I think it was kind of hilarious when, like, just the whole time, like, reporters are grilling him in questions and stuff like that, trying to basically give some irrelevant questions, and he's just calmly and coolly answering them. And at first, he's just being a smartass, like basically saying, I don't care what you people think about me at this point. But then, I think the ultimate, like, mic drop moment is when everybody's stuff started floating out, and then they're saying, it's like, are you doing this? What are you going to do to help us? It's like, well, maybe you should just find your next big story. I just halfway imagine him, like, picking up a microphone and just going, boop!
Yeah, and then it led into that.
Yeah.
That nice touching scene.
Yeah, that nice little moment.
I'm assuming next episode, Regan and Mob are probably gonna have a nice talk.
Either have a nice talk
or maybe just go. Well, didn't they like go get food?
Yeah, let's go get some ramen. And Mob said, "Oh, by the way, happy birthday."
Yeah. It's so nice.
So good.
They're such a good like friends for each other because
they're such a good duo.
Mob is teaching Regan how to be I guess they're both teaching each other how to be better people.
Yeah, exactly. It was so cool.
I did not. I said it before. I'll say it again. I did not expect all this, like, deep emotional, like, personal connections from this show.
Yeah, I mean, in the first season, we kind of just dealt into the psychology of a character who was kind of overpowered and just trying to be normal. Here, we're starting to delve a little bit deeper into that and figure out
a little
more
bit
about
deeper into Regan too.
Yeah, which is really cool. Regan's such a good character. Next up, my roommate is a cat. Man, kids are exhausting. That's all I have to say about this episode.
Yeah,
kids are exhausting.
I completely feel what Subaru was going through this entire episode.
Yeah, again, as an introvert, I relate, because all of a sudden it's just like Hiroto shows up, and then with him he decides to bring his 4 siblings, actually. His twin brother and sister, his very young sister, and then his younger sister, who's, I want to say, in high school.
Yeah, somewhere around that.
Yeah, but then it's just like, I'm used to hanging out with you, and I'm used to you just kind of barging in, but I wasn't expecting this. Like, I didn't plan for this. Which, again, it's such a relatable feeling, like, as a fellow introvert.
Yeah, because, like, when someone brings kids over, you're like, well, I want to be polite and, give the kids something to do. But also,
I don't know how to
fucking leave.
It's like, I don't know how to interact with kids. Like, I've never had this issue before.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Subaru is like, again, you talked about a couple episodes ago how you were wishing that the whole writer aspect of the of Subaru's, like, character came in, and it seems like that's coming back in full force, because the episode starts with, here are some cover ideas that we have for the novel. Also, there's an autograph signing that the company wants you to do. Immediately, just, I refuse.
Yeah, I think this was probably my favorite episode so far.
Yeah.
Because I think it was handled, like, the best out of any episodes so far. We got to see, Subaru, getting exhausted, but realizing that, just because he hasn't been hanging out with people all the time doesn't mean it's something he wouldn't want to do. Because he was like, maybe this is nice every once in a while.
Every once in a great while. Yeah, I think that was cool. Like, and
from Haru's perspective too.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was cute.
The little thought of, you gotta protect the little ones when she's about to scratch the kid.
Yeah.
and then she just immediately goes to smug, like, yeah, I'm protecting this kid.
It's like pulling the weak goes against my principles. Oh man, Haru, smug cat, love you.
Yeah, I think that Subaru and Haru make at least at this point in the show, for me, they make a very strong duo for a cast. I don't think either of them would be able to function on their own.
Yeah, exactly.
As a series.
I think that the other really interesting thing here is just, like, the little details of how we've seen Subaru kind of grow. Like, for one thing, when Hiroto just basically invites himself over for dinner, he's actually is about ready to ask, like, Kawase if he wants to stay for dinner. I don't think early on he ever would have done that.
Yeah, true.
Like, but then Kawase pretty much invites himself, so there's no point. Because Kawase basically is just a child. Mm-hmm. He's basically a child. Like, and it was actually kind of funny, like, seeing him, like, kind of ham up for the kids. Like, oh, I wonder where the kids could be. Like, that whole spiel. Like, if you ever played hide and seek with your parents growing up, they would always pull that. It's just such a real emotion.
The final scene of the show actually is pretty up there alongside with Mob, actually, surprisingly for me, it's like one of the most heartwarming scenes of the week.
Yeah.
Just seeing Haru snuggle up to Subaru and it's like, well, I know you told me that it was dangerous,
never to let your guard down, but
maybe just this once.
It's just okay, just for a little while, right?
And just them snuggling together was so goddamn adorable.
That was like that. It was so adorable. Like the show is so wholesome. I love it, and we actually get a little bit of another example of of seeing Subaru's growth as a character is when Nagisa, I believe the girl's name is, asks him like
the high school girl.
Yeah, asks him like, well, what books do you recommend? And
yeah.
You think that he's going to walk away and just trying to kind of compose himself. I was expecting that at first, but then he comes back with a book.
Yeah, it was a good callback to the last episode where we see the happiness he got from communicating with people was seeing what other people like checked out books he liked.
Yeah, exactly.
As well, and it was kind of a nice little tie-in here.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very nice little moment, and the little moment when he's like wondering, is like, oh crap, do I have enough teacups for everybody? And then he's reminded of like a tea set that his mother bought, and it kind of was like, oh, that's kind of sad, but it's also kind of heartwarming. She never got to use that tea set, but he used it for everyone, which was, I think, a nice, sweet little moment.
I think I would have been more invested in the tea set. Minor complaint, but if they didn't show the flashback about his mom, I think it would have just been cooler if he like picked up the tea set, maybe remembered his mom a little bit, and then just continued on.
Yeah, maybe.
I just like visual storytelling better.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, overall, it was a really nice episode.
Indeed.
Next up is The Price of Smiles.
I think that last week was a little bit of a stumble. This week we've kind of hit our stride again, actually.
Yeah, I was very worried that the show was gonna go and that Yuki was suddenly gonna be a like master tactician. She was gonna be amazing at everything she does.
Yeah, I made that joke before we watched the episode this week, and then you brought up that concern, and I was actually quite impressed with like how they went about this.
Yeah, because Yuki is obviously a prodigy, for lack of a better word. She's very intelligent, makes very good judgments, but also she's still blinded by her unreasonable want to save literally every single person under her command.
I think that and again, while it's a noble ideal, unfortunately that's not always the most realistic approach.
Yeah, you're not going to get what you want in war if you try to save every single life. Some people are going to die and you need to accept that.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, obviously you want, and I think she's actually kind of grown, like, to the idea that try to save people where you can. Like, don't get unnecessary casualties.
Yeah, cut over to fucking me playing Fire Emblem for the past few weeks. I have to save everybody! Nobody can die!
Oh, permadeath is so cruel in that game. Yeah, it's like you're the unit that I spent so much time and like leveling up, and it just decided, and the game decided to screw me over with RNG.
Yeah.
Fuck you, game. Fuck you.
But yeah, Yuki is she's still working through her flaws. Like, everybody keeps pointing that out, like especially
Harold.
Harold, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that was a little bit. While this episode was good, I think that it wasn't without its flaws. Like, my overall stance on this show is that it's a good show, albeit it has some problems. Like, some storytelling scenes that could have been handled better. Like, in the opening bit, it's described, like, you hear Layla kind of, like, just awkwardly exposit, like, 2.5 months have passed. Yuki has, like, we've been holding the fort, like, and Yuki strategizing has mostly been, well, those are all cool strategies, like that, and she's been poring over tactical guides, like, day and night. Though it's all really cool. I would have liked to have seen more of that. Like, actually seen her, like, kind of stressing out over, like,
exactly.
tactical...
We could have used another episode for sure, just seeing the process of Yuki when she first escaped to how she got to this point.
Yeah, exactly. Another scene where that was kind of a problem was the scene when she was talking with Layla about like the recording that she showed the day they left the palace. Like the thing that had pretty much incited this whole conflict between Grandiga and Soleil. You see like Yuki just sort of like talking with Layla on a bench, and then they cut to a flashback of this recording, like talking about a third major superpower, the Old Verde Empire, as they're referred to. And then, of course, we see later Izana, I believe his name was?
The Asian commander guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Susanna.
Yeah, they were, like, he goes and is, like, listening to, like, he's still kind of able to, like, hack into, like, the security cameras and stuff still inside the palace.
I love anime hacking or just fictional stuff. It's just like, I'm hacking into the system.
I hacked the timeline. I'm Hacker Man.
Go on.
But, so, and he finds out about the Verde Empire. So, it would have been interesting if the whole hacking scene happened first, and then Yuki was reflecting probably by herself about the whole, the Verde Empire realization. It just felt like those scenes should have been placed, like, in different order, but, like, the director had, like, gotten them mixed up or something.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. And I think that, but it is interesting, though, seeing, like, this third superpower, which has apparently sort of fallen out of favor.
Yeah, I guess they fizzled out.
Yeah, it kind of makes you wonder, like, what happened? Like, what happened to this empire? Like, and if
I think they got absorbed by, like, Grandiga.
Probably. Or if it has something to do with the Krars, because that's the biggest thing that I'm being led to believe. And I think the intro is kind of letting a little bit of idea to that. Maybe they got blown up, or like a city of theirs had gotten completely obliterated because of the Krars.
Oh yeah, that could definitely be a thing.
Yeah,
because they were very against them being developed.
Yeah, I think they saw the destructive power of the Krars and wanted to resort to terrorism to make sure they just didn't exist.
So Izana's death scene, I think, was really well done.
I think so too.
It felt really well earned. It didn't feel like they just kind of threw it in there, because he found this information that was, from his perspective, very, very important and more, like, worth more than his own life and more than seeing his kid again.
Because that was the thing. Like, he was getting ready to escape.
Yeah.
You actually see him, like, see a lifeboat, consider getting on the lifeboat, but then run away from the lifeboat and go to the computer terminal instead. So it's like, oh, wait a second. It's like, that was your opportunity to escape. What are you doing? Which, again, it makes sense considering what he ends up showing.
We don't know yet, but it was apparently very important information about, like, the origin of the Verde Empire.
Yeah.
And, like, their
test results of the
research.
Krars.
Yeah.
Which, again, they keep hinting at how dangerous the Krars are.
Yeah, Yuki was saying, like, okay, we'll surrender if you release all this information.
And ensure the safety of my people.
Yeah, which
Fleet decides not to do. She's like, I will ensure the safety of your people. However, I won't release any of the information about...
So, that seems like information that would end up turning the entire, like, people of Grandiga against them.
Yeah, probably. I imagine so, like, because even in the conversation between Fleet and the Emperor, you see, like, the whole, like, hesitance for her to use the Krars, and because she knows that something bad is probably going to happen if they fight with the new Krars. Like, it's gonna they're unstable is the biggest problem that she points out to the Emperor. Mm-hmm. But the Emperor, as he said before, like, I don't care. You need to do this. Like, it's basically just a show of power. Mm-hmm. Which, and then the final scene where you see Yuki, like, in the hospital because, she has her baby, like, because Izana's wife has her baby. Like, the scene where she just kind of starts crying, but she's got a smile on her face. It's hard to watch. Because, like, it just makes me think, like, I don't think she was happy to see that kid. Like, on one hand she was, but I think, like, the part was, the kid reminded her too much of Izana and what he had to give up, pretty much. So that probably made her start crying.
Yeah, it was a really
it was a bittersweet episode. Mm-hmm. Very bittersweet. So next up, Promised Neverland. Holy shit, this series continues not to disappoint. Oh my god. Like, the best description I can give of this series as a whole, and this episode I think is probably one of the better things about this. It's like a huge cat and mouse game where you're never quite sure who the cat is, who the mouse is, and sometimes there's multiple cats and multiple mice. Yeah. Like, this episode,
good way to put it.
Like, the power dynamic between these characters shifted so constantly in this episode. You were never quite sure who was at an advantage and who was at a disadvantage here. I think I might have said this before, and if I did, I apologize, but it's very much like Death Note in that regard, with the whole like mind games and mental challenges, and sort of like how they're just trying to one up each other and sort of get an advantage on the other person, but it never seems like you're quite sure who's defending, who's attacking.
Yeah.
It's Crone is fucking scary. Can I just point, or scary
Creepy.
stuff? Creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's definitely way more creepy than she is scary.
Yeah, they from what I've heard, she's not that creepy in the manga. They kind of amplified her creepy levels for the anime.
Which I think is a solid decision.
Yeah,
on
it's
their part.
working well, definitely.
Like, I mean, on the other hand, if she didn't look as if there was something just sort of like off kilter about her, like she didn't look that creepy, like, but they still kind of, but they still made her just kind of unsettling. It would have been effective in its own right, but here she's just downright creepy, which I think is effective.
I think they're doing it to set her apart from Mama as like a separate character,
Yeah,
kind of a separate entity, because like Mama has that kind of nurturing, caring look, but also she's very unsettling and not creepy, just unsettling.
She's almost too perfect.
Yeah, and then having Crone be very, very creepy looking a lot of the time is a good contrast.
And seeing how animated she is compared to Mama, like when her sing-songy voice, her dancing around and stuff like that, it's all super unsettling to watch.
Yeah. So my highlight for this episode is when Crone goes when the kids are eating breakfast and Crone runs off into the kids' room to look. I think it was in Ray's. It was Ray's desk.
Yeah.
To try and find some kind of evidence about how they're going to destroy the tracking devices. As soon as she like went in there and started digging around, the music kind of slowly faded out. It was silence. There's no music. It was just the sound of her rummaging through stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see Phil.
Yeah.
Kind of jump in, and it wasn't really a stinger, but it kind of felt like one.
Yeah.
And just her whole searching and actually finding the note. I was so like, it was so tense. The whole scene, my heart was just like doo 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 doo. And I was just quietly watching, and I was expecting somebody to like jump out or something to happen. And just this show is so good at like masterfully presenting atmosphere and making you nervous that something bad is going to happen at any moment.
Exactly, like the camera work and everything, and just the look on Crone's face when she sees what's on it looks like a piece of paper, a photograph, or something. I don't know entirely what it is.
I'm pretty sure it's a photograph.
Yeah, it would make sense
because of the whole camera. He just got the camera.
Yeah, Ray gets a camera. It's really interesting because I don't know. Like, what all the planning that really is going on here. Because I think the scene that set it up for me was the scene when Norman and Emma go into Crone's room and start talking. Like, there are just some subtle little details and stuff. Like, when Crone finally reveals about the tracking devices, even though they know about the tracking devices, they ask about them. And when she says that, they're located in your left ear, like right about here, they kind of look shocked. You see like a pause on Crone's face, like she's sort of sizing up their reactions, but then kind of doesn't acknowledge it. And then when they're getting ready to leave, she starts laughing.
Yeah, she's pretty clever.
Yeah, she's
very perceptive.
And when Emma asks her to see like the tracking device, like the little device radar that they have, kind of looks like a pocket watch. 7 steps never felt so long. That's how many just
yeah. Like, is she gonna pull a knife out or something?
Yeah, it's just like, oh god, stop it, I can't take this.
They did a really good job world building this episode.
Oh yeah, it was very well handled. Like, it was very subtle. For one, they reveal in sort of like a throwaway line of dialogue. It's like, I was raised in this grace field, but never at Plant 3, for one thing. 2, the whole thing about like Mama in general, like how like Mamas actually come to be. Like, you have to be a girl, specifically, of the age of 12, be smart enough, and be recommended by the current Mama of that house.
Yeah.
And then Crone even mentions something of a grandma. Okay, I cannot wait to see her.
Yeah, so we got a confirmation, or maybe confirmation, from Crone, because we don't know how much of her information is actually truth, about the fact that there are people out in the world that live normal lives, like humans. They live alongside the quote-unquote monsters.
Yeah.
So if that is true, then it kind of will... It'll be a little less dire of a situation for them to survive once they get outside the walls. Because I'm sure there's also children outside the walls. Like, I think I said before that I'm pretty sure that it's just going to be a society of, humans are one of the races, monsters are one of the races, and this is just like a livestock farm, so people don't really freak out about it.
Maybe. Maybe they don't entirely know what's going on, but yeah, I'm fascinated to figure out where this world all goes. And the final scene, though, when Mama shows up at the door of Krone's bedroom, pulls out a knife, you think that she's going to stab her with it, but then kind of tosses it around, like, no, it's like...
Which that was on purpose, for sure. Like, that was a power play, if I've ever seen one.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I got this knife.
It's like...
What are you going to fucking do about it?
It's like, there's a letter from HQ, it's for you. You should open it. Go on, open it.
Yeah.
And then when she does, like, again, Krone's face looks, like, freaking dark, like, just freaked out.
I'm assuming it was a transfer letter, probably. Like, you're being moved on to another...
a transfer letter, or maybe she's slated to be killed.
Maybe. So either way, I'm pretty sure that the kids planned the photo that she found. Like, they planned for her to find either a photo or a letter or whatever.
And I think Ray had because he even specifically asked Mama to... It's like that thing that we're going to do. Do you think we could do it sometime around lunch? Like, he actually specifically made it a point for that to be the time. And another thing, it seems like Mama knows about Ray's stash, because like, it was revealed like a couple episodes ago, like Norman found like a bunch of stuff under Ray's bed, like kind of hidden beneath a floorboard or something. It seems like she knew about that and had moved it or something, or she doesn't know about it. Like, I don't know.
No, I don't think she knows about it. I think that the thing they were talking about was getting Krone kicked out. Yeah. I think that Ray and Mom worked together to get Krone removed from the situation, because eventually when Mama realized, like, okay, Krone isn't what I wanted here. Yeah, Krone is is kind of more of a liability. But you can't just send her away, because that would be suspicious. Yeah, exactly. But it makes me wonder, like, what exactly that is. I'm sure they'll tell us next episode, probably. Yeah. This episode's got me on I'm sitting on pins and needles for this show. It's so atmospheric and so just mind gamey. I freaking love it. I cannot get enough of this episode. It's like, as we've said before, it's probably one of 2 shows this season that we are just like every week just looking forward to it the most. So next up is the Quintessential Quintuplets. Hey Rex, can I ask you, do you want to make a Miku? What? Do you want to make a Miku? Because that's exactly what the rest of the Quints tried to. That's what the Quints tried to do. Like when Itsuki, Ichika, and Nina are just sitting at the table together. It's like they just say, "Hey, let's try and trick him. Let's make him look like it. Let's try and make Itsuki look like Miku, because let's part." Ichika's like, "Just part your hair to the side a little bit, and there we go. You look like Miku." No, you parted her hair to the side the wrong way. Yeah, that led to a nice little touching scene in this episode with when Uesugi was like, "Oh, hello, Miku. I see you are there, Miku. Let us prepare to study, Miku." Yeah. It was just a nice little kind of them making up moment. Yeah, it was like the two. I want to point out the name of this episode was called Liar McLieface. I remember that was translated. Yeah. Like, I think it's Utsotsuki, I think is the name of the episode in Japanese. So I imagine that's probably something like Liar Liar, or at least something to that effect. But I don't know. It was hilarious nonetheless. Liar McLieface. I think the other really cool thing is the show knows the tropes of the harem genre, but it also knows how to mess with them. Like, because if this were any other harem show, one of the girls would have stumbled into the room, saw Miku sleeping there, and would have immediately had a misunderstanding, like, oh my god, blah, someone would have been punched or slapped or something. Or they would have just been pissy about it for several episodes. Yeah, exactly. But no, there was none of that. Like, yeah, there's slight romantic undertones, but for the most part, it's just friendship. I think is growing. I think so. Like, unless you're Miku, because Miku clearly head over heels for him. Well, it's one-sided. Yeah, for sure. I don't think he Uesugi has any major romantic feelings for any of the girls.
I don't think so.
It's probably like something along the lines of, he's a teenage boy and he thinks they're cute.
Yeah.
But that's about it at the moment.
Yeah, and I think what's also really cool, again, Ichigo proving what a great wingman she is. Like, basically, like, could you go home and get my stuff? Wink, wink.
Well, that wasn't her being a wingman. That was her getting Uesugi to go back and
and to apologize.
Yeah,
exactly. And
it was her being a good older sister.
Yeah, which again, really cool. Very, very nice of her. And then even Miku having like the little about last night. It's like nothing happened last night. I slept on the couch because I couldn't get used to the bed and my back hurts.
Smooth.
Yeah,
just like the sneak in scene.
Oh my god!
I fucking called it. Like I knew that was gonna happen.
It's like well, Yotsu. Yeah, you were like Yotsuba's in there, so they're probably just gonna have them all look like fucking Yotsuba.
Uesugi's walking up like, "Ohio!"
Yeah, just it's like, yes, I am totally Yotsuba.
Just fucking tries to walk by, and
then the guy, like the guidance teacher, doesn't stop him at first. And I was like, wait a minute.
I feel like too many people. Maybe they're just playing up how different they look for the audience, but I feel like too many people in the show are fucking retarded when it comes to discerning the differences between the twins.
Yeah, because they even kind of make that point in the beginning. Again, a little clever way that Uesugi figured out that it was Itsuki and not Miku was the pajamas she was wearing. Yeah. Like it's like Miku? Wait, no, but Miku's in there already. Wait, those pajamas. Oh, that's Itsuki.
That's got to be hard to do as a writer because you have to be so consistent all the time about the little tiny quirks each girl has.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming the writer at some point probably got confused himself about which character was which.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially in an anime when you have different people doing in-between frames.
Yeah.
Then you have to make sure if those people also don't get confused.
Yeah, you have to make sure that Itsuki isn't wearing headphones unless she has made a point that she's wearing headphones.
Exactly.
Or that one of the other sisters is putting stars in their hair for some reason. But
so the penultimate scene in this episode was really sweet. Seeing Nino finally kind of come to the side of all the sisters.
Yeah, a begrudging understanding,
allowing him to stick around.
Yeah, that was, and she started to realize that when she noticed Miku and Uesugi just make up. Like, and he's helping her study. You see this look on her face because she's watching the whole time. It's like, maybe he's not such a bad guy after all. Like, that was a pretty cool little moment.
I liked her clever not lie.
Yeah, her lie by omission.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he prevented us from failing all 5 subjects. The 5 of us from failing all 5 subjects. It's like, well, they did pass.
Yeah, I didn't lie.
She technically didn't lie. And then, of course, we get a little bit of a breakdown of each of the scores of the girls. Miku got the highest score. Yes! But that was partly because Itsuki didn't answer all the questions. Because he's like, Itsuki, you're so unbelievably awkward.
Yeah, it was. They did a good job playing more into the quintuplets kind of narrative of each different sister is best at a certain subject.
Yeah,
even though Yotsuba was like, I guessed.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny though as well when she was in there and then she was like, oh, I'm just gonna guess. It's like usually in an answer with 5 the 4th one is usually correct. Of course she guessed the 4th one because Yotsu is in her name.
4th, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't really count her as being good at that subject if she just fucking guessed.
It's like, no!
Yeah, it's gonna be hard to get all of them up to passing scores for the finals or whatever they have to do, which is probably going to be the finale of the series.
Yeah, exactly. And there was a nice little line from Futuro was, it's depressing being reminded how stupid all of you are. Oh my god, I freaking loved it. I loved this episode, and then, of course, Itsuki, since she's our token tsundere, she has to play the whole, like, I'm doing this for Raiha's sake, of course. Yeah. It's not like I want to help him out or anything. Because she was the only other sister, aside from Nino, who inadvertently figured it out, that the dad told them, oh yeah, by the way, if he doesn't help you all pass all of your tests, I'm kicking him out. I'm firing him. which I thought it was really cool and nice of Nino to actually like step up to the plate. And
yeah, so at this point he's probably got all the sisters mostly into studying, at least, which I think they've got like half a semester or whatever.
Yeah, they do. This is only midterms.
Yeah, so they're probably gonna end up time skipping a little bit.
Yeah, I want to point out that that there are there are 5 tests on the midterm, so that's about an average of 500 points a piece. The highest score that they got was like 160 something. That's
terrible.
That is atrocious.
They are, dare I say, dumb bitches.
Yeah, they are.
No offense to any smart bitches that exist.
Oh man, it's just absolutely terrible. But at the same time, Miku got a 68 on one of her tests. Which,
yeah, we know you like Miku.
Miku's great. I'm sure a lot of you like Yotsuma. You like the dumbest one in the group.
Hey, she tries her best to guess questions.
Yeah, she certainly does that.
Your taste is shit.
Alright, so next up, Rising of the Shield Hero. I fucking knew this would happen.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure like most people probably called it based on what I was seeing around the internet about last episode. It's like everyone's like, yeah, that's the seed.
Yeah, it just which I don't necessarily know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that people were able to call it, but it's because it makes me wonder, like,
I think it's fine.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. Like, I thought it was just a thing that is. It's like, okay, that's a major red flag.
I think it definitely was a little kind of forced. Like, oh, here's the seed of blah 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 blah.
I think that it played more into the idea, like, because later now Fumi kind of berates the village about like how it's like, oh, you thought it's like, even though they heard of this legend already of an alchemist who had made this seed and had sealed it away because like plants had overtaken the region for a while, that they had just kind of collectively ignored it.
Yeah, I mean, hunger will make you do crazy things.
I don't think it was so much that as much as it was like the idea of like hero worship, because Motoyasu brought it to them, and they just immediately thought, it should be safe because a hero brought it to us. So I think it played more into that idea rather than anything like them being like starving or anything.
Maybe a combination of both.
Yeah, like you convinced yourself it was safe just because a hero brought it to you. I thought that was interesting. Also, these plants are fucked up. Like, for one, they grow ridiculously quickly, they turn into monsters, and they even are parasites. Like, they just kind of, like, start growing out of people. Like, that whole bit reminded me of the Lost Odyssey little vignette, the Tragedy of the Butcher General, where a kind of similar thing happened. Like, plants just started growing out of this guy's body. It's super fucked up, actually.
The not insecticide, the herbicide, that was also very strong. Yeah. And I guess after he enhanced it, it became a little stronger.
Just like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm just going to make this plant just completely freaking crumble.
Yeah, just by pouring it on it.
Yeah, the plant eyes reminded me of beholders. Like, I can't be the only one who thought that. Like,
you mean gazers?
Yeah, oh yeah, I forgot. Ooh, gazers.
Yeah, I like again that Naofumi ended up charging them for his work. He took some of the fruit, I think it was.
Yeah, like end. It's like because
and some of the seeds.
Yeah, because he was like, okay, I never said anything about giving it to you.
Because like I said before, it works better for the long term for everybody if both parties feel like they're getting something out of the situation.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting how he kind of finagled his way through it. Like, I never said I was giving it to you. And it's like, well, we gave you all our money for the treatment. It's like, well, you can pay me in goods, but we don't have anything left. Kind of side eyes. Oh, wait, we have seeds and fruits.
Yeah. Oh, I also thought the way he like genetically reprogrammed the fruit was pretty clever. Oh yeah,
because he gained the biofruit shield, which allowed him to modify plants, which seems like a really bizarre skill, but it's like, okay, you can modify plants. But then he combined it with his Mandragora shield that he got like a couple episodes ago, I think, and he was able to analyze and then modify its specifications. So in conjunction, those two shields work really well together.
Which I think he also probably might have crashed the economy of the village by doing that. Because they're like, oh, now nobody will make a job off of food because we have unlimited food.
well, they can all be traders and start selling those to people.
I guess so.
So he kind of has and they can start spreading it to other people.
It's going to have a very wide-lasting effect on that area's economy.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Hey, I mean, at least it's better than everybody dying of famine.
Oh, sure, yeah. I agree with that.
Because your options are get devoured by plant monsters, die of famine, or have to deal with a new influx of economy. Just, all right, let's figure out how to work this.
So and then we got the other half of the episode, which is, you gotta have one.
It's a hot spring episode.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember like we were getting ready to watch this, and you were like, I heard this was a hot spring episode. I was like, oh, really?
Yeah, I saw the PVs for it.
And I think it's funny. I'm not entirely sure if this is just how demihumans work, or if it's just Raphtalia still having the mind of a child. I'll get pregnant if we kiss. Because when she was all fantasizing, like if
that might be how they work. Who knows?
It might be, but I doubt it. Like it's like that American Dad episode. If you make out, then you'll get pregnant with an alien baby.
Yeah, it's mostly kind of a rivalry between
Philo and Raphtalia.
Philo and Raphtalia's episode, yeah. Well, which I don't really think it's much of a rivalry from Naofumi's perspective, because I don't really think he sees either of them that way.
No, he doesn't. In all honesty, I hope that, as I've said before, I hope that for the future of this series, he doesn't see either of them that way. Like I
think he would eventually probably end up with Raphtalia. People who have read the source material obviously know. Don't spoil it.
Yeah, don't spoil it. I'm just saying that I wouldn't go that route. Like, I personally wouldn't if I were writing the series, just because I don't really see their relationship as being that way.
Yeah, like it would take a while for them to have a truly healthy relationship.
Yeah, like, again, that's the other big red flag. It's like, that would be so unhealthy and creepy.
Yeah, the whole slave crest thing.
Yeah, the slave crest, the fact that she is still pretty much a child. Like, she looks like a lady, but
Officer. She has the body. Well, I guess an officer wouldn't really care.
Yeah, it's like, she has the body of an adult, but she's still got the mind of a child.
You're going to jail for dating the mind of a child. I love how even though it's in like fantasy past medieval times or whatever, as soon as Raphtalia gets out of the hot tub, she has the coffee milk.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, the coffee milk.
That stereotypical hot springs thing.
Oh, it's like,
and she even like puts her hand on her hip and chugs it like you're supposed to do.
And then that was a funny little moment when she saw Philo and Naofumi. Like Naofumi was brushing Philo's hair, and then she was about to give him the milk, but then he was too distracted. He's like, "Hey, give me the milk," and then Philo's all like, "Hey, give me that milk," and she just chugs down both of them, just like, fuck you."
Yeah.
This episode did have a really weird way of introducing, like, the major plot line, or at least major motivation. It's like, because Raphtalia wanted to get, like, this medal, but then, or something of that nature, and it just kind of awkwardly cut back to her, like, overhearing this conversation from these two ladies, like, I hear love charms made from this are actually really powerful, or whatever. That just felt really awkward and out of place. It felt better when...
it was kind of a filler episode.
Yeah, it felt a little bit more organic when Philo was explaining what she was trying to do. Like they didn't, like, kind of cut back to it awkwardly. She just kind of explained what she was doing. And if I bring a delicacy to Master, he'll pet me and become my mate. Like, no...
That's a bit of a jump.
Like, yeah. I think it's funny, though, that's exactly where her mind goes, because, like, before that, it's like, she's just being a glutton as usual. She's such a child, but then she's thinking that far ahead.
Yeah, nothing like a little bit of KFC, Kentucky Fried Coitus.
Kentucky Fried Coitus. I've never heard that before. I imagine it'd be very messy, actually.
And delicious.
But I think that the other big part of this episode was just being chased around by a big-ass boar. And then, how did the boar find them? Like that boar
Boars have really good noses.
I guess that's true.
And memories.
Do they really?
Yeah, there's lots of cases of, like, when someone's fucking with a pig as a baby, the pig will grow up and have a vendetta against that person.
I haven't heard of pigs. I have heard of elephants, but that's interesting.
Yeah, pigs do that too.
Interesting.
Anyway, yeah, it was a nice little teamwork moment between Raftali and Philo. Kind of a little bit of bonding.
Yeah, after the eggs were destroyed, after the little piece of ore went flying, the two of them just kind of looked at each other, looked at the pig, and then they were just like, "Fuck you, pig!" And then they sell the pig for a crap load of money. And when they said, it's like, we'll pay good money for it. And it's like, I was thinking, oh, they're just going to give him the money. Now Fumi likes money.
Yeah. It was a sweet little present. Like
yeah.
the little hammer they gave him.
Yeah, I wasn't
assuming it was probably a very expensive hammer.
Yeah. I imagine so, because I don't imagine them keeping any of the money.
It kind of brings me back to why I like Naofumi also, because he's not just like a generic hero. He has like the trading and the crafting.
Yeah, that's all really cool. Like
it's more of a business character.
Yeah, and then we also see like how powerful he can be at times. Like because yeah, he obviously has a lot of skills and is like figuring out like and cleverly applying those. But I think it was just really cool, like, when the vines were wrapping around him, he just kind of, like, the vines just start disintegrating around him, like, does it kind of fall off of him?
I think he, like, poured the herbicide into a shield or something.
Maybe.
Because they, like, showed the herbicide, and then his shield glowed, and then he started walking forward, and the vines didn't affect him.
It's either way, it was still a cool-looking scene to watch.
Yeah.
And then it was also...
0 fucks given.
There was still another really cool little scene when you see, like, the stereotypical, oh, Raftali is getting grabbed by vines, she's trying to hide her skirt, and then Philo just goes, heh.
Smug bird. Nice bird.
Yeah, nice bird.
So, last up for the week is Run with the Wind, where we're finally approaching the Hakone Ekiden.
Oh, God, and... Again, this series does a really good job of like knowing the tropes of of the sport genre and kind of playing around with them. Because this whole episode, I was worried that Haiji was not going to be able to run, and that's what the series would lead you to believe. I was not expecting Shindo to not be able to run, of all people.
He suddenly got sick.
I mean, it's not suddenly. They'd kind of been building up to maybe he was overworking himself and stuff like that. Like they were worrying, it's like, are you getting enough sleep?
Oh, yeah. And he's like, this much is fine for me.
Yeah, exactly. And so if he'd been overworking himself, it's no surprise that he got sick. At the same time, I wasn't expecting it. They kind of put more emphasis on Haiji's leg and kind of pointed you more into that direction.
Which that also still might be an issue. I'm assuming it probably will be during the race.
I hope not.
Because, well, it's probably going to kick in during, like, the finale moment. Because Haiji's supposed to be the anchor for the team.
Yeah, he's the one finishing the race. Which, that was a really cool scene when Haiji's announcing, like, all the sections that everybody's doing.
Mm-hmm. And why they're good at it.
Yeah, that was...
It just shows how perceptive he is. More.
Yeah. Like, even Prince, like, even though he's the slowest runner out of all of them, he's the one starting them off.
Because he's the best at staying calm in tense situations.
Yeah, which, when all eyes are on you at the very beginning, you kind of need somebody like that. It was just a cool little bit there. And then it seemed like Joji and Jota, they were just kind of placated because, I mean, yeah, they're good runners, but they also mentioned how much they liked the C part of the race. So,
and of course, they'd probably want to be... I don't think they'd be happy if they weren't handing off the baton to each other at one point in the race.
Yeah,
They're probably happy about that.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Like, I hadn't even considered that, but I think that it's hilarious as well, because, like, the two of them, like, while they kind of came to a little bit of an understanding, there's still a little bit more of a, of unresolved business between them, because Hana tried to interject as, like, don't you want him to do the Mountains of Hakone art?
The cheer?
Yeah, exactly. And, like, don't you say it gets you fired up every time you hear it?
Yeah, Hana's such a good girl.
Yeah, they even say that. Like, Nico says that. Like, Hana's such a good girl. Like, we don't deserve her.
Yeah.
But then, of course, Haiji just doesn't play along with it. Like, he just goes, oh, it cheers you up that much, does it?
Smug Haiji.
Damn it, Haiji.
And they put, I think it was Shindo was scheduled for, like, the uphill
which again, makes sense, because that's what he's used to.
Yeah.
And Yuki is good for the downhill segment, because as he said, his center of gravity and his core strength are the best among the group. Which, again... super cool that Haiji was able to figure out all this.
Yeah, he's been watching everybody so much.
For, 6 months, they said?
Yeah.
It was something like that. It was a long time.
And he specifically put Kakeru in the spot that he thought Fujioka is going to run in. Yeah.
Oh yeah, a little bit about Fujioka this episode. It's cool that Fujioka is is kind of like a mentor to Kakeru in a way, because and also something for him to aspire to, because not only does Kakeru want to be as fast as Fujioka, he wants to be as strong as Fujioka is, just how down to earth and centered he is, and kind of realizing the whole that when those guys were trash talking Musa, those are just the words of amateurs. Don't let it distract you. Because Kakeru, as we've seen time and time again, has a very difficult time keeping his cool in stressful situations.
Yeah.
And I think that that's just something that Kakeru is aiming for. Not just to be as fast as Fujioka, to be as good of a person as Fujioka is. It's a nice little theme for him, I guess. Something to strive for. But this episode was kind of sucky when we finally realized, oh yeah, by the way, Shindo's sick. And they made such a big deal about it. It's if even one of you is not able to make it, you're done, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know.
We need every single person that we can get.
They can't just bring a sub in either, because you have to have the record.
Yeah, exactly.
Of being allowed to run, and then I think they probably registered those specific people. So it's either they're not going to be able to do it, or Shindo's just going to have to deal with it.
Yeah, which is going to suck big.
And he's on the uphill part.
Yeah, so that's going to make him falter, because the thing about Haiji is he may not be aiming for actually winning the Hakone Ekiden, but what he wants to do is get them seeded, which is basically getting them more recognition and their team more recognition for the next race. He basically wants to give people, I think, more of a reason to join Kansai University's track team.
No, he's definitely, this plan he made is to win. He's specifically planning everyone to win, because when he's talking to Joji and Jotai, saying, I'm going to show you what the top is.
Maybe.
I promise I'm going to show you the top. I don't necessarily know if they're going to win. I don't think they are, actually.
I don't think they're going to...
We said that before already, but I think Haiji definitely thinks they have a shot.
I don't think that they're going to win the race. I think that Haiji also might be planning more long term. I think that his biggest concern is he wants to approach it yes, we can win this. We're certainly going to try our hardest to win this, but I think his goal lies with trying to get more people to join the Kansai track team. No,
his goal is to find out what the meaning of running is.
Maybe.
I don't think he's super concerned with the future outside of this current team.
Maybe.
The coach probably is. But, we haven't really got any information of what you're saying. We haven't really got any...
I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking at... I think because he pointed out that during that whole conversation that he did want to get them all seeded, which if they're seeded in the Hakone Ekiden, that's a big deal. That's going to draw people in one way or another.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good point, I guess, for that, because seeded wouldn't be for him.
Yeah.
Or I think some of the people are going to graduate this
year.
Yeah.
Haiji's one of them that's going to graduate. Haiji, Yuki, and Nico.
So I guess he is looking to help the next year of students that way.
I think that he's probably, and if this is any indication, I think that Kakeru would be the one to be the captain of the running team if they actually continue, because he's still a freshman.
Agreed. Yeah, he would definitely be the person to take over next, which might rub people the wrong way a little bit, because he's second year, and there would probably be people who are above him.
Yeah, probably. But at the same time, it's are you really gonna argue with the judgment of somebody who managed to get a seeded team in the Hakone Ekiden?
Exactly. Yeah.
You're not real, and it's this is and somebody who is probably integral in figuring that all out and getting that happening.
So I want to point out that last episode I was thinking, they're not going to win. There's no way they're going to win. It's just going to be more about the journey. The writer's doing a really good job of getting my hopes up, and that's upsetting me a little bit.
Yeah, I know.
Because I'm I was already settled in, oh, it's fine. They're gonna try their best, but they're not gonna win. And now I'm thinking well, maybe they might win.
Yeah.
Maybe so Haiji's gonna pull something out of his ass, and they're gonna end up winning. So I'm okay, I was ready for disappointment. Or I was ready to not be disappointed, but now I'm gonna be disappointed because now you're getting my goddamn hopes up.
Yeah, I think that either way, if something does happen to them, and if they don't win, I'm still going to be disappointed, because I am getting my hopes up too. I want them to win. I think that they, like as you said, the way that Haiji was worded and everything, he might actually think they have a shot at winning.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I just think the difference in their skill is just much too great. Like, Prince is not a good runner. Like, well, okay, that's not entirely...
He's a good runner.
He is, but he's definitely nowhere near the level that some other people are.
Everyone on the team is a good runner.
At this point, especially when we see the leaps and bounds that Prince has made at this point.
Yeah, the leap and bound everyone's made.
Yeah. Like Prince actually being able to run properly, King having a proper running stance, and
Musa being more confident with himself, Nico quitting smoking, Yuki actually enjoying running.
Oh yeah, that was another thing. We got a little bit of a bonding moment between Yuki and Kakeru over their mutual dislike of their parents.
Yeah.
Because that was the other big thing. Shady newspaper reporter finally made his move. Like, I've been wondering what he's been planning this whole time.
There's a whole article about Kakeru's past.
Yeah, and hitting his coach.
But Haiji and their coach were able just to be like, sorry about that.
Yeah.
We're moving on from that or whatever.
Exactly. They were able to put damage control on it well, which makes me wonder, is that going to play a bigger thing later, or is that just a one-time deal?
I don't think it's going to be
I don't think it'll be
later on. I think the big struggle in the next episode or 2 episodes is going to be the race, like Shindo being sick, Haiji's knee probably near the end.
Which, oh man, I'm getting super nervous about this, and we've been watching this for what, 18, 19 episodes now?
Yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah, it really has been. Like, it's gonna be sad to watch this series go. Like, really, I'm really gonna be upset when it finally does go, because this has been a really good sports show. That's gonna wrap it up for this week of the Timesink Anime Podcasts. So just if you guys like this video, comment, keep the discussion going, figure out...
Yeah, if you guys have any, opinions about, all the shows we've been talking about this week, we like engaging with the community. We said before, our faith. That's why we started this podcast, is to talk to other people about anime.
Yep, and it has been really fun doing that. We hope that you guys have maybe some things that we didn't notice and want to talk about or even point out, because, this has been a really good season so far. I'm looking forward to the finales of all these shows this season.
Yeah, it's only a few more weeks to go.
Yeah, only a few more weeks. And comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Just keep following. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Away Anchor. See you next time.